Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live on a Thursday night. We got a little bit of Impact on tap tonight and a bunch of faces on the screen, but we're going to get into all that tonight. As I said, it's Impact. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but we're going to talk a lot about it, folks. It's going to be a fun stream. We got so much wrestling news, so much buzz on the cusp of a busy weekend here on the channel, but make sure you get in that chat. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. And make sure you enjoy all the fun. Strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. Let's go. Oh, by the way, we're the Wrestling for Life Network. Ding, ding, ding. We are live and back at it again, folks, and we are ready to go. Like I said, or almost forgot to say, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. I got two pretty faces with me tonight, so I don't know how Nick's little spiel is going to go.
I was going to say, Anthony, you go first. I'm kind of the closer.
But we're going to get into all the action. Remember, we watch Impact on YouTube, so it hasn't quite started yet. Sorry for the delay. Things changed on the fly here. But we're going to get into all of that. I will remind everybody out there, I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, and these are my buddies.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It is Impact Thursday. We got somewhat of a card. I don't know what it is, but we got somewhat of a card. I do know Trinity and Chris Sabin are teaming up tonight in mixed tag team action. I also believe we have the Motor Machine Guns teaming up with someone from AAA to take on Trey Miguel and another tag team from AAA in a trios match. So I think we have a fun night prepared on Impact Wrestling.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube Tag Trios Stream Champions of the World, the Every Night Delight, KJ White, the chapeau that runs the show, Mr. Ringsider Anthony, and I am Big Nick. How we doing? As Impact goes south of the border, they're running away from Canada. They're going to the other border. They're going to Mexico.
They don't like being in the States very much.
Well, the AEW is pushing AEW or pushing Impact right out of Canada there with their Canadian tour.
Well,
right. I think Impact is kind of with the last leg of 2023. They're trying to go ahead and do the switch over with TNA. I do remember in the summer they announced that they were going to limit touring and also limit the talent being used after Bound for Glory. So that's why the episodes have kind of been spotty over the past couple of weeks. So they do this whole production change leading up to Hard to Kill, which at that point when they made that announcement, TNA wasn't in the talks, or we didn't know. It was in the talks behind the scenes with them, but we didn't know.
I was gonna say, everybody get your impacts out now. Everybody just get used to get rid of saying Impact because it's going to go back to the TNA here in 2024.
Exactly, which is going to be a very hard change for me because I'm used to saying Impact, so I got to get used to saying TNA.
Is it not a bit of a risky strategy, though? Because one of the reasons why Impact wanted to go to TNA was the fact that they were on a heater. They were doing well. Just had, a lot of buzz about Osprey being in town for a couple shows, really setting a nice bar. They were on fire. Lots of good news coming out of Impact. And then they kind of made the TNA announcement. And then they were like, we will just coast into 2024.
Right. They just kind of disappeared. And I don't know what their strategy is. I don't know if they're just banking off of the TNA name come 2024. But I personally would have had them do the production upgrades, and then we lead into Rebellion maybe as TNA Hard to Kill. I mean, as TNA in April, with a lot of buzz behind the company with the production change and the upgrades. That's kind of how I would have done it, but I don't work backstage, so that's probably another reason why.
You just let this go off into that sweet good night. You let Impact, kind of see itself out here, and then you come back with the big reveal of TNA, and like you said, the up in production value. We go back to the TNA cross the line, the dramatic voiceovers where you have every wrestler in just downpour of rain and shit like that before every pay-per-view. We go back to that type of TNA of just production in your face, big announcement, big reveal, kicking off a new brand. I like just let Impact die out, I guess. The branding start anew in 2024.
Hey, that's even a better idea. And it seems like that's what they're going for. And I don't want to use like the term slowly dying. I think because if you've seen the announcement today, they're clearly not slowly dying with Final Resolution being sold out with no build, no storylines going in it, and it's completely sold out. So they're going out of 2023 with a bang as Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Do we know I wonder what the number, like a sellout for them would be? Is it 1,000? Is it 1,500? I mean, it's very interesting considering a lot of talk about AEW struggling to crack 2,000 in a lot of markets, even struggling coming to Canada, which we go buck wild when wrestling comes out this way, and it hasn't been the case for AEW. So I'm really curious.
Yeah. I know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, you're good. I was gonna just literally say, if man read my mind there, if I was literally about to say, so, but what's a sellout for Impact? With all due respect,
84 people.
It's 2,000? Is it 1,500? Yeah.
I know when they sold out Slammiversary this past summer, it was 1,500. I don't know what Final Resolution's arena can hold, because from what I'm understanding, it's not in Toronto. Actually, it's in Mississauga. I think I pronounced that correctly, right?
Mississauga, my neck of the woods.
So that's apparently where it is. I don't know what that arena or wherever they are, how much it can hold.
Do you know what the venue is called?
I don't even know that. Let me see.
But even if so, say if you were an AW, not to switch companies fully, but if you had every weekly taping is in 2,000 seat venues, what have you, you can say every Wednesday night Dynamite sold out. You know, you might lose some by the end of Ring of Honor, Rampage, whatever else you're taping after it. But if you could sit there and rather than going to these 5,000, 10,000 seat arenas and only selling two, I like with Impact stays within its lane. I think AW needs to fall back into its lane a little.
I think if they decide to go to smaller arenas, AEW, they're going to have to switch their market just a little bit. So they can't go to the busy market. And I kind of talked about this a couple of months ago in a TikTok video, because someone said AEW should go to bigger arenas. Well, when they come to Atlanta, they're never in Atlanta. They're in Duluth. That's about an hour away from Atlanta. The State Farm Arena can hold, from my understanding, close to 20,000 people. They ran the Atlanta market in their second year and they didn't sell out. They've been going to Duluth ever since. They can't sell out that arena either. And it's much smaller.
It's like what we saw last night with Wednesday Night Dynamite, and KJ was talking about it, and even was kind of like, as a proud Canadian, what the hell is going on here? It's not the Canadian fans. I think it's at times even more the product, just talking to AW. But yeah, you want to run shows in Toronto, but you can't sell out. You want to run shows in Montreal, but you can't sell out. So maybe they go to the smaller venues, the smaller markets, and you get then those crowds that haven't seen wrestling. They don't get the big shows, because we've talked about how many times has Chicago gotten a show in 2023. Go ahead.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just doing a little research while you guys are talking about this. So actually, it's funny because where we used to do our hockey training camp is where they're doing this. This is a minor hockey arena. So I mean, smaller in the size. It's a twin rink, so they'll be in one of the two rinks. But I've literally been in the building they're going to be hosting thousands of times. One of the last games I ever coached was in this building, the old green barn of Tompkin Arena. But they've changed the name, Don Kolov Arena.
KJ's going to just show up at the show and just be like, yeah, I got a ticket. My name's hanging up there in the rafters. You know, I kind of just run this place. You can let me in.
It'll be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the show actually looks coming out of Tompkin. Again, one of the smaller arenas, like it's a local kind of minor hockey arena in Mississauga. I hear Luna all the time being like, I don't go to Mississauga. Mississauga is like the nice, cleaner suburb of Toronto where most people run away to. So, but I will quickly say hello to the chat. I do apologize for being delayed and a little, ignored you guys a little bit for
scattered.
But yeah, we're getting our shit together, as you could say. But Impact will be starting off shortly, if not now.
is actually starting now. We have Trinity and Chris Sabin. And again, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names from Mexico. So, so it's Trinity and Chris Sabin with two wrestlers from AAA.
Tormenta and Dynamico. I feel like I'm starting to take on the KJ thing of just like, how can I pronounce this the most comical way possible?
That's kind of the way to go. When you can't do it, just, whatever.
Right, as we've got Trinity out here in a lucha mask, by the way.
There we go. Mexico feeling the glow.
Yeah.
So we're kicking this off.
Right. But JV, what up? Damien, what up? Angel, what up? I was going to say, you mentioned the chat, and then we still never went back to
I was just saying hello.
hello. Kenneth, what up? Steve G, Chris, Vance, Ronnie, James, Bud. Everybody. Chris, Boston. Aleo, what up? We got everybody popping off here.
Lots.
What is it? Sorry. No, I was just finding it interesting of how, rather than how AEW will have, Vikingo, who is the triple A star that you were thinking of, Anthony, that's in the 6-person tag match later. But how they'll come to AEW versus Impact. We'll go to you. We'll go and have a show in Mexico and everything like that.
No, I agree. I've actually have seen talks in the IWC about how Impact goes to these countries and invites these wrestlers to their shows to get them more exposure. And on the other end, it's like AEW, you come here and we can give you exposure. I don't know which one is better, but I do say going to someone else's territory to give them the opportunity to showcase what they have and their abilities in a totally different company, I feel like is a better idea. But that's just me.
Fair enough.
I was just say, your thoughts, sir?
I don't have many, but I do think it's very interesting. I mean, we talked about the relationship between AEW and Impact that, was kind of long-standing when it first kicked off, but then there was rumors of, AEW kind of, their guys got over in a lot of the cases, if not all of the cases. And similarly to some of the talent that come in, they'll bring in a Vikingo, but they want your best stars. I mean, Impact does a really good job of submerging themselves in the community. They've done an amazing job, and they're pretty much a Canadian company. But, we saw about local, our friend Piers, local ring announcers. They bring in, and look at the ring. We got a yellow ring, aqua green ropes. Like, I'm down.
Well, as we've been here for Triple Manias and everything before, already with the fucking screen just playing nothing but advertisements and all of this, it 100%, I feel like we're clearly in Mexico and all of that. And
so
Dale's out here saying I was trying to get into Ohio Valley Wrestling and working with NWA.
Nice.
But, Impact feels like kind of the elevated version of, I'd arguably say, both of those. Yes. Even though NWA is supposed to be this great show, I guess still has a deal with CW somehow. But Impact's top 3rd promotion, I'd say, right now in the US.
I think it's been like that for quite a while, and I found it very funny. I don't know if you guys watched the OVW doc or whatever that's on. It made me laugh because when they talked about it, they're like, there's WWE, AEW, and then it's us. And it was like, wait a minute.
We're missing a couple of companies there.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. See that bottom line, and then there's us.
I do want to talk. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the match has kicked off.
I do want to talk about Deonna Purrazzo down here. I'm looking at Damien's comment here. So Deonna Purrazzo has not re-signed with Impact Wrestling, and her contract expires January 1st. So she becomes a free agent January 1st. That was the first thing I saw when I got home, and I was a little disappointed. From what I'm understanding, Deonna Purrazzo wants to explore free agency, which is a good thing. A lot of people want to grow, and that's always a good thing. My thoughts on it, I would like for her to stay in Impact as it transitions to TNA, because she has been the cornerstone of women's wrestling in Impact. But what do you guys think? How do you feel about, this change with Deonna Purrazzo?
When you're looking at the Royal Rumble, so you're saying there's a chance.
Deonna's amazing. Like you said, she's been a cornerstone of that division for so long. I feel like WWE had her, and I know some people instantly have that mindset of, well, they dropped the ball. But, I mean, she wasn't quite what she is now then, perhaps. Right? And they have a habit of letting people kind of go off and figure it out. I think a lot of wrestlers, especially the independent wrestlers, or, you know, if you're tagged with MLW Impact, you're going to wait and see. You're going to see if Deonna can squeeze a few bucks out of Tony or Trips and kind of figure it out, she might end up back at Impact, but it would make the most sense to at least explore what's out there.
Exactly.
The most interesting aspect of this is really not even, well, to an extent of where she ends up, but she wants to explore free agency. It's much like, oh, I'm going to enter, you know, the transfer portal, like, and any sort of sports. So we're going to actually get free agency. Like, that's how Ospreay ended up in AEW because Tony outbid Hunter. That's really what it was. So now we've literally got these actual markets to where Deonna could take an offer from Hunter, can take an offer from Tony and say, hey, Scott, this is what they're offering me. What can you do? And that's a lot of power in wrestlers' hands that hasn't been there in quite a while.
In a long time. And I know people who, you know, the tribal wars, I mean, we want AEW to be successful and stay around for that reason, because it creates these situations. Now, the question becomes, has Deonna done pretty much everything she can do with Impact?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Want to say that at all.
It's like, if there's something else she could do, and other than winning the actual, you know, the world title, you know, it's not much she can do outside of actually winning the Impact World title. There's not much she can do.
Right.
Honestly, until you said that, I didn't realize that she hadn't. I forgot Grace is the only one that has.
Now, I mean, her husband's there, but he didn't, you know, he might not necessarily be there forever as well. Steve's done a really good job of reinventing himself. So it'd be very interesting, because there are a lot of factors to what's happening here. You know, you always worry about going to AEW and not being booked properly. You worry about going to WWE and being swallowed and misplaced. Pause. I saw your face. But and then Impact again, you might have just plateaued in Impact. So I'm really excited. I mean, Rumble, your joke about Rumble, this could be the craziest Royal Rumble in the history of Royal Rumbles.
It really could.
I think 100% is going to be phenomenal, and it's the most wide open bracket Rumble, however you want to phrase it, I can remember of recent memory.
Yeah,
like, you have your strong favorites, but still there's that what if.
Yeah.
But what if? Because speaking of husbands and contracts being up, Andrade's contract, I guess, is getting close to being up with AEW.
I did not know that.
Yes, I like this.
Yeah, so where he believes, granted, he believes and what Tony believes are two different things. Yeah, so long, farewell, bye-bye.
And thinking about it, Andrade was under Vince McMahon once he got up to the main roster. Now Triple H is at the helm, so this could be completely different with Andrade in WWE the second time around, because he hasn't really been used that well in the past year in AEW. So, hey, go back to WWE, see what Big Papa Trips can do.
And remember, there was a time when people thought that he was going to sneak Charlotte over to AEW.
Right, and then listen, the most successful or the most over Andrade has been in the American side of things. I know his successes, in Mexico and in down south, but to come to the state, I mean, is that NXT run under Triple H where he was the champion. He was booked like a champion, and Escobar took his gimmick and ran with it. Look at the success of Escobar.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, Santos, gets kind of the heel spot. Andrade comes back to say, hello, Santos. This is my gimmick. Thank you.
Right.
There's a lot there.
Sorry, but Trinity just won the match for the team. I was
random child in the entranceway. Random child in the entranceway.
She was the MVP of this match. I know we didn't talk much about it, but she was definitely the MVP of this match.
Oh,
And now
Chris,
Chris
they've been
Sabin
trying.
is choking.
Yeah, y'all saw what I saw too. Random child in entrance way. Because now I've got Josh Alexander on my screen.
Oh, that's too funny. What is the chat saying? Andrade was good in NXT mostly because of Garza. Because of Garza? How did that make sense?
What?
He had nothing to do with Garza. He actually beat Drew McIntyre.
They weren't even in the company at the same time, my guy.
Because wasn't Andrade teamed with Zelina Vega? Weren't they?
Yes, he was
Zelina.
Yeah. That's where he needs to be, is back with her. He needs a Zelina Vega to I mean, even if you partner him with Charlotte, and I don't mean like they're going to do mixed tags. I mean, legitimately, they're around each other. They're like the power couple, and they both go heel. I think it works wicked. And Charlotte can do a lot of talking for Andrade. It helps, but he needs Zelina.
Well, can you? That's the thing. Is I was about to say, put him with an Elektra Lopez or Lola Vice, but then again, if you have him over in WWE, most people are going to know enough that him and Charlotte are together. So you've got to have those two together.
That'd be interesting. Dun, dun, dun. What else we got? That's so funny, though. Yeah, I don't know what the Garza connection is. If Purrazzo goes back to WWE, she enjoys catering. I don't know if that's factual. Not with Trips. I think people are stuck on old WWE. This is a new WWE. We got fucking Nick Aldis running a show. This is a new WWE.
Chelsea Green is a women's tag team champion.
Right, and on top of that, you can clearly tell that Triple H is working with the women's division. They're on the screen all the time now. So I don't think Deonna Purrazzo would just be sitting and catering, to be honest.
No, come on. Especially with some of the women that they do highlight, which no offense to them, but Deonna's going to jump past some women really quick because of who she is, what she does. And then you give her a microphone, she's outstanding.
Exactly. He can hang with the Charlottes and the Becky Lynches easily.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Gigi's out there drinking the haterade. So I have Eddie Edwards versus, is this Sin Cara? And he hasn't broken a pinky or anything yet.
It does look like Sin Cara.
Eddie Edwards and Mitazis versus Latigo.
Yep, you said those. I didn't. You can have fun with that. Folks, let us know how close or wrong we were.
Mitazis was featured the last time we did a AAA show on this channel, so shout out to Mitazis. So is it a triple threat?
Yes, it looks like I'm still telling you, man, looks like Sin Cara.
Is that? It looks like Sin Cara. It really does.
Is it Mystico and you just mispronunciated that name so much?
It could have been the Mexican.
Then again, I have no idea how to tell whether you're right or wrong. So,
all right. So triple threat against Stella Alaola.
Van said, "No more crazy vitamins for you, Steve G." The anger sharks are swimming in my brain.
Yeah, and I'm not trying. I don't think any of us are trying to overly defend the WWE, but at the same time, we're watching the evolution of the company. I think some people are really stuck on Karrion Kross showed up in BDSM costume. We get it. There was dark times in the WWE, but I do feel if you're paying attention, if they're going to sign Deonna, they're going to use her or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why am I going to sign a free agent just to fucking ruin them?
Right.
That's just random petty shit. You do that with someone from AEW, not with Impact. It's not even a WWE thing. It's more of, if I'm going to sign this person, pay them a good amount of money, probably more money than most of us will see, then I'm going to try and do the most that I can with them. I'm not going to just throw money away.
Right. And again, Deonna Purrazzo can hang with the best of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even up for debate. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think you would just hire somebody to waste them sitting backstage. That doesn't make sense.
People get hung up on the WWE visual that, like I said, they just hire people for petty booking of I'm going to pay you a bunch of money just so I can pay you to embarrass you on national TV. No, that's not a thing in 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
And as the WWE continues to grow, and some of the older stars begin to phase out, you got to bring in new talent. I mean, it's just how the world works. So Deonna Purrazzo is fairly new to the WWE. If she signs, you gotta put her in there and push her, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? And you're spot on with that, because one of the problems with like the extended end of Vince McMahon's era was we were getting the same people year in and year out. Even if, yeah, sure, the New Day was still good or Dolph was still good, but they were just doing the same shit, the same people. You
Yep.
need to mix it up. You need to change things and out, people in and out. And I think Triple H talks a lot about depth. You need depth.
Well, and even we've said that at multiple times, though, just on shows of we see it constantly now with AEW, for an example of how can I miss you if you don't ever go away? And when you have a wealth of riches and you have, this machine, like this star, and I was reading the goddamn comment when I said that, this star that can pop up and everything, and that star that can run the story for a little bit and be the highlight of a show, so someone else can kind of, just fall out into the background for a little bit and then come back, refresh.
Right. And I'm gonna go ahead and defend Nick down here. Cross will actually be on SmackDown tomorrow. He will be in the Intercontinental.
How did I get attacked here? I don't know.
Intercontinental Championship, United States #1 contendership match. So Cross will be on SmackDown tomorrow.
It's like the jokes and everything else, Nick. I just dodge all the fucking bullets, and everyone's like, there you go.
Pop. I just get lit up like a fucking mob movie over here. So on a different note, because of how I watched AEW and everything last night, and now we're going to have a tournament in WWE, should we, 2 matches in or so, be pointing out how people are eliminated from the tournament mathematically multiple times, but they can still going to compete in the tournament and everything? I really didn't like when they were bringing that up with the Continental Classic. Like, cool. Make me give a shit about this Mark Briscoe match that don't bring up that he's already lost twice.
Yeah, but and technically, I mean, the weird part was in my head is he lost twice, and then, if it's 3 points for a win, you could run the gambit, and if Moxley or Swerve lose the next couple, you're back in it. But
how you give away your booking early.
I don't even understand what's happening with the Continental Classic, so I can't
even
answer.
So you're one of those. I didn't think you existed. I didn't think the people that didn't understand the tournament didn't exist. It's the G1. It's a round robin.
Yeah, so you got this round robin, and I mean, again, it's very interesting how it's going to set up. I'm really curious to see how. Again, I've enjoyed the matches. The benefit, and I'm going to take this comment down, but again, I think Steve G, you're looking backwards, not forward. That's all. Yes, they fucked up a lot of talent, and they fucked up NXT talent. Never mind free agents. So just give it time.
I'm going to click on this funny comment of Paul saying, wasn't Mystical Sin Cara the same? No, Mystical's the rapper from the 90s,
Right away. Show me what you're working with.
Been so long. Rufus, what up? Do you think Moose is future TNA Hall of Fame? Yeah.
I actually think he's going to bring TNA into the new era. I think he's going to beat Alex Shelley, and they're going to put the company on Moose's back in 2024.
I think they've done that already, though.
They have, but I think Moose is more over now than he was then.
I beg to differ, sir.
What you got to say, Nick?
I think that Moose was a bigger commodity and everything when he initially did that and everything. Now, and also, especially with Impact at that time, Moose was the guy. There wasn't Macklin. There wasn't this person kicking around. There wasn't a Joe Henry. There wasn't an Ospreay popping in or anything. There was Moose, and he ran through the fucking gamut. And there was talks of even Moose, I think back then, of making the jump to WWE, which I still think would be an interesting idea.
I like what Anthony had to say in the sense of, Moose had that good run. Do keep in mind he stole the belt from Josh Alexander, and that was a really good part of his run.
That was epic.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot about that.
I'm my Canadian, but at the same time, I think because Moose did commit to TNA, he's one of those heart and soul guys, and again, you do have. I mean, we all assumed Josh was going to get the belt right away. Like, he's back. Here's your belt. And Josh has been tied up in other things.
I surely did thought Josh was going to get the belt right away. And I know, as much as a lot of us would like to see Moose in WWE, me included, he said he didn't want to make any more new friends. And I felt that. Like, I felt that in my heart. Because it's like, I don't want to jump to another company and have to make new friends and start over again. I felt
that. I'm doing pretty good right here.
Yeah, we were once upon a time I was involved in an interview with Moose, and that's 100% his attitude, his style. Like, even during the interview, he was like lounging, like sagging, just okay. Like, doesn't, he's good. He knows his lane, he knows what he does, and he doesn't, he's chill. He don't want to go anywhere. I just want to see his entrance on like a big stage.
Yeah,
because one of the best entrances going.
It's definitely a grand entrance that could be even grander on a bigger stage.
But I think that's part of what endears people to Moose and everything, is that A, it's fun to chat. B, he's a badass. And C, like you were both kind of hinting at, he has that endearing quality. If he gets it, fuck it. Yeah, I'll just sit here in my sweatpants. I don't want to go and hang out with y'all. I'm perfectly fine right here. But still go on and put out fucking classic matches, have huge moments like you talked about, to where he takes the title off of Josh Alexander right in front of his kids. And all of that. So you still have those iconic moments that you can get from Moose, but he's like the most chill dude ever.
No, exactly.
No, that was one of my favorite moments. I think it was like 2022. It was like one of the top moments because it was unreal. I was so upset that night. Like, Moose just comes out of nowhere and Josh's kid's crying, and I'm a big Josh fan. I was like, this is brilliant.
I mean, that was brilliant booking to do it right in front of his family. Like, that's genius. Ultimate heel moment, I guess you could say.
Right.
Much like Gunther with Chad Gable.
Yeah. I will say this match has been pretty good.
It has. It really has.
2-fall for Eddie. I know we're not talking about the Impact match specifically, folks, but we're watching. We're watching.
They're fun. I'm just trying to. I was like, do I say boy or do I say boy? Just call you M.
Oh shit!
2, go! He grabbed the ref's hand. Why does that ring look so goddamn warped?
It is.
The canvas and Matt look warped as shit.
They're wrestling on a half pipe.
A little right. Where's Tony Hawk? God damn it!
At least Impact is not buying ad space out of their pocket, so they can fudge the ratings on overruns like certain company called what's that name again?
WCW.
Wait, what? Yeah, what?
I don't know.
Anybody want to address this nonsense?
I'm not really understanding what's happening here.
Yeah. Daniel, you might have to clarify. We can't read your mind. So Nature Boy thinks he's 30. Anthony, how do you feel about Ric Flair?
I don't know. I really don't. First of all, did something happen on Dynamite that I missed with Nature Boy?
Rampage. They edited out Ric Flair flirting, inviting the ladies 18 to 28 back to Space Mountain. And the wrestling world went a little sideways.
Maybe the oldest ride, but it still got the longest on.
Yeah, that's not good at his tender age of 92. We can't be doing that.
The Crypt Keeper Ric Flair out here hawking mushroom energy drinks.
Shit, the hornier old men instead of the grumpier, right?
Just him and Jericho, just what?
Throwing Jericho. I love it.
Oh, come on. You're telling me he was the first. Chris Jericho's the guy who narrated the Dark Side of the Ring episode with the plane ride from hell.
He did.
And everyone talked about Ric Flair. Yes, we got a 3 count. Well get there. But that everyone talked about with Ric Flair, and it's the first one. You do you, boo boo. Basically, was his fucking tweet back at that. Like,
yeah. Well, can I ask, like, because I brought this up last night on stream, it really strikes me as odd, especially from Tony Khan, where Tony Khan comes out and goes, whoa, wait. I'm not paying Flair. It's a sponsorship deal. You know, he's paying us for appearances, blah, blah, blah. But you were critical of the company for another company for being involved with this man. And it seems like if money's involved, now you're being a little hypocritical, if I'm being honest.
I want to hear your take, Anthony, because I got a whole other thing too that I want to talk about, because I think Tony's out here just, how can I get in front of, I've said it before, he's fighting a negative PR battle on all fronts.
I've said it time and time again that Tony Khan, and let me turn this down a little bit, it's too loud in my ear. Tony Khan needs someone to speak for him. And he needs to think about his own company and stop trying to fight the competition. In my opinion, it wasn't a great idea just to come out the gate swinging at a company that's been around for 50 years. You can't do that. Taking jabs, taking hits is okay. Saying little things here, but going on your Twitter rants, doing all this extra stuff, bringing in Ric Flair. I mean, the guy is great. He's 90. Leave it alone. Okay. Leave it completely alone. And then you have to backtrack and say, we're not paying him. He's actually paying us, or whatever the case may be. The guy never should have been around. I feel like if you really wanted Ric Flair there, you could have had him and saved him for Greensboro, North Carolina, Sting's last match. Sting obviously is going to win. You bring Ric Flair out, you raise his hand, they both walk out into the sunset. We don't need him for 9 months.
No, not at all.
It's not important. This is not 1973. This is 2023. It's no point for you to be around. Plain and simple. And I'm done, Nick. It's your turn.
I like that. Funny that they just have that.
Right? That's mic drop. No, it's just funny. You're in bed with them anyway. It doesn't matter who put it, like who's paying, you put them on your TV.
Right.
I harken back to one certain company called WCW. 100%. This company is taking on water, and Tony doesn't know how to make heads or tails, if anything. To me, I wonder what broke Tony Khan, because this was not up until like the first 3 years of AEW. This was not the Tony Khan that we had gotten and everything, to where he's going on Twitter rants calling people bald assholes and this, that, and the third. And turns out Daniel Bryan was quote unquote the head of your disciplinary committee, to where even he's having to backtrack and say, I wasn't the head. There was like fucking 10 lawyers and me. So I was certainly not the head of this. And now, Ric Flair, we're not paying him. He's paying us to be here, as he's getting, under the fucking flames. And then now, how do we feel about Daniel Bryan being the Twitter police?
Listen, first and foremost, Tony Khan's theme song would be "It Wasn't Me." We'd be having Shaggy.
When we caught you on the Twitter, wasn't me. On the Insta, wasn't me. When we caught you on the camera, wasn't me. But she feared for my life, wasn't me.
But like that's his whole adage now. And do expand on this Twitter police comment.
So it's come out that Dana Bryan, I guess, is the one, I guess, playing the new Aubrey Edwards, Dawn Stevens role of, she was just out here blocking trolls. He's out there it was SRS Fightful that initially pointed out that, I guess, Daniel Bryan has now been responsible for, this is the weirdest way to try and put this, but responsible for finding AEW superstars for certain comments or certain tweets that they put out, like how, I guess, Santana put out a tweet earlier today about how it's been 6 weeks or whatever since he's been on TV, and then all of a sudden that tweet suddenly gets deleted. And all he just tweeted was 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden that gets deleted. And I think it was Fightful reported that there's at least 1 to 2 that they know of, that's already been fined for certain remarks that they've made on Twitter and everything like that.
Imagine you were at work and one of your coworkers, not your boss, one of your coworkers came over and fined you or sent you home or wrote you up. Could you fucking imagine One of your coworkers disciplining you. Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
It's a little weird that Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson is kind of the Twitter police. It bothers me that we're in a place or a society where we can't vent our frustrations. I don't know. I feel like venting our frustrations is a good thing. What Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy did over the past couple of days, I felt like they needed to say it. They needed to say it. And I just feel like we're in this society where, like, if you vent your frustrations on social media, you're automatically done. I don't know.
No, you can vent your frustrations and everything like that. No one's knocking him. Well, Daniel Bryan is technically, but for the company, like, you're in a certain space and everything. Like, yeah, I would expect though, if you go on Twitter and say my job sucks, this, that, and the third, and everything like that, and so, your boss turns around and sees it because it's a giant public platform. They might at least want to have some things they want to talk to you about. You can be upset, just don't broadcast it for the fucking world to see.
Yeah.
And
true.
My whole thing, I get very much, because I'm of that mind of the wrestlers policing themselves is how we got into this situation. So them policing themselves to get out of this situation is a little bit oxymoronic. But we've been begging for anybody, and I do mean anybody, to step up and act like an adult backstage. And if it's going to be Daniel Bryan, it's going to be Daniel Bryan. And he's Teflon Don enough that he's going to be the GOAT. He's vegan enough, whatever, that he can take on any sort of slings and arrows he may face. But if he's going to be the one that's going to do the job that Tony should have done, and that his legal team should have done, and everybody else that works, that's a fucking EVP, etc., should have done, then so be it. I applaud that. I'd rather hear that story. And like I said, it is weird that it's someone, the call's coming from within the building, Sydney, that type of shit, then it's someone that's an EVP, an exec, somebody that's not an on-screen performer, that's the one having to put their fucking foot down.
Could that not make Bryan an EVP unto his own right? Like, why don't we just call him an EVP? He's doing more than the other.
He's the only one that acts like one.
That's true. I don't know.
Jeff Jarrett's supposed to be a backstage personality. He's been on screen more than anybody.
Right. We all been quiet.
I was going to say, don't everyone get quiet on my accord now. I just talk and everybody gets quiet after it. I'm like, oh.
How's the match going?
So I think we have Jordan Grace and Sexy Star versus Deonna and Marvella. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I think that's how the team is going now.
You got way closer than either of us have.
Sorry.
I was trying my best to pay attention while you guys were talking. I have to do this a lot with Luna. Like, I have to keep her on track some of the time. So, like, while you were talking, I'm looking at the entrances and like, okay, when we get to the match, I'm gonna be able to remember these folks.
I feel you, my guy. I feel you on that one for sure. But so Deonna, speaking of the double, is in the ring. Sexy Star, remember when she was almost a WWE talent?
Vaguely.
Yeah, that's how it went. What else we got? You said you had notes from Dynamite, but we'll get into that.
Oh, you want me to go through notes? Okay. I'm telling you, you're going to make me just outright Jim Cornette now. I did like the Hangman and MJF backstage segment. I think that was my personal highlight of Dynamite.
Maybe. I just thought it was unnecessary and just I think it's just a weird.
It's setting up another challenger. I don't get the obvious later tie-in and everything, but it at least keeps Hangman still doing something. I like still a little bit more than obviously you do of that. Everybody's kind of going at the challenger in some form or another.
As a champion?
Yeah, that everybody's got at least something going on. He sits there and Heyman cuts a whole promo on Swerve of, I'm a father, you came into my house, this, that, and the third. But here, MJF, since you're here and you've got the world title, I'm going to say this, that, and the third over to you, too.
Yeah, I thought it was a touch long. Like, I thought it was just kind of like, and they were just leaning against the wall. Like, it was a chit chat. But I mean, it was all right. I mean, I kind of want, I liked what Paige did with the whole, you broke into my house, I hate you, da da da. I want him to kind of stay focused on that. Now he's a suspect in the Mr. Burns mystery.
It was Maggie Simpson.
I watched like a tad bit of Dynamite. And what I saw with MJF and Adam Page, I actually kind of enjoyed just a tad bit. What I don't, so I agree with Nick, and then I agree with KJ as well. I don't like these challengers just being thrown at MJF left and right, like we're playing dodgeball, and which one are we gonna dodge this week? I'd rather them stick to one story, get that over with, and move on to the next. That's more of me in my mind and not being able to focus on 72 different things at one time. So that's just kind of me.
But with their injury history, can we focus on one story at a time? Because then that person will get hurt and then we're all fucked. Or that person
that is true
because someone feared for their lives.
That is true.
Right. So I guess what was next note? That was talking about the don't beat us over the head with the eliminated out of the tournament thing. We'll piggyback on, speaking of the Hangman Page MJF thing. We get no real announcement of who the team is. We just get Samoa Joe comes out and the fucking Putty Patrol just circles him at ringside. And then we just cut to MJF just sprawled out back with a beer bottle. Just one.
Mr. Burns.
Right. Did he have the firearm? He was pointing at 12 and 2.
It was A and C.
And I also noticed if he was really attacked, why is the AEW championship just sitting there looking like it didn't move? Like if he was holding it while walking and then got attacked, I don't think it would just be sitting there looking pretty.
And no one's looking for this man. The match is about to start. There's no one like, oh my God, where is he? There's no commotion. We're just expecting he's going to show up.
Yeah, no, and there's multiple issues that I got to bellyache about last night while we were live. I was really disappointed because first and foremost, it was the masked man that proposed the challenge. This was part of the we are going to fight you. Are you a hero? So why would you fuck up the match when you set up the match for two of your henchmen to fight the guys that are in the ring? So that doesn't make sense. It's counterintuitive. Just on the surface level. And it was just one of the times where the moment happened and then it was forgotten. It wasn't even barely talked about for the rest of the night on the show. If this is your marquee champion, this should be referenced and gone back to in replays. And, you got to make this.
It was one of your selling points for the show.
Yeah.
And you don't sell anything on it. And I liked how James Storm became more trending than anything else on this show because everyone's like, please let it be James Storm then at least. James Storm to AEW. But it looked so staged, so phony, everything. And that's just what ends the match. We don't have any follow-up. We don't have any discourse afterwards. No, nothing of, well, I guess we'll get it later tonight as he shakes off, the rest of the beer bottle shrapnel out of his head, and he fucking might be a little woozy in the match later on, but we still have it. It was clear as day. It was just set up to sit there and make Hangman look like halfway a suspect. And to me, the whole Devil storyline at this point has clearly jumped the shark. I'm back all the way around to where it's MJF at this point. That's seemed like Anthony said it was so staged looking that at this point it's almost gotta be him. And I still question and I still worry they don't even fucking know. That's why they keep fucking throwing darts at the board.
They have.
At this point, the masked man is giving me vibes of the anonymous Raw general manager. That's like
it's Michael Cole.
Like at this point, either reveal it or get it done with, because it's dragging on. And it was very interesting, really, up until last night when I saw that AEW championship belt laying the way it was. I'm like, this y'all couldn't figure out something better to make this look like MJF actually got attacked and not just like he laid on the floor and just put his title there on display for the world to see. I don't know.
Yeah, as a fan, I was bummed out. It was so ridiculous. Again, like it felt like the villain set up a trap, and then instead of waiting for the trap to snap, they ruined the plan. Like, okay, so you're not interested in Joe at all. Like your whole plan was to pretend there was going to be a match. No, well, that none of that made sense. Like, so you kind of erased last week, and I was really bummed out because I thought it would have been really cool. You get two masked guys in the ring, have a match, even if you use local talent. And even if they unmask one and it's somebody nobody knows, but it was a red herring the whole time. But I was looking forward to the next step in the story. And now I feel like we threw it in neutral, if not reverse. Threw it in neutral on a hill.
Tony Khan has M. Night Shyamalan himself. He put a twist on a twist. You did a 180 and a 180 and went back to 360.
No, I agree. I really thought the mask should have came off at Full Gear. I think in our prediction video I talked about that, and I said I think the mask should come off at Full Gear, and it's dragging on a little bit like this Bloodline storyline. Like let's get it. Let's get it over.
Don't you say that.
And
don't you say that.
I love the Bloodline. I'm just saying. I'm just feeling like this mask. It might be a little bit worse at this point. So
I still question if I wonder if they ever knew, when they knew, have they had to call audibles backstage because of people getting hurt? Do they still know, like, this right now? I just want to know the creative process behind this. I don't even give a fuck who it is at the end. I've joked this is going to be Jungle Boy just because he's the true devil. He's the one that Tony's like, you son of a bitch, you cost me punk.
Right.
But I don't even know if they know, because we've had Slender Devil, we've had Wardlow Devil, now we had No Show Devil, we've had Beer Bottle Devil. We have like sequels already. We're into like Devil 5. Now we're just got to wait 3 more, and then we go to Manhattan.
No, I mean it was a little disappointing. How's Impact going, Anthony?
Right now we have another tag team match. Now I didn't see who came out to the ring, but it is Tommy Dreamer teaming with somebody from AAA. Don't know the name. I'm sorry. And on the other side, I think it's Brian Myers.
And I don't know Black Taurus. I don't know whose team he's on, but I've got Tommy Dreamer and Black Taurus.
Yeah, it's I think it's Black Taurus and Brian Myers on the same team. And then on the opposite side is Tommy Dreamer, and obviously I don't know who the other person is. This is what happens when you don't announce the card beforehand.
What?
I've never heard him called Black Taurus before. That's a new one.
I like that. It popped me, actually.
Chartreuse.
Oh.
All right. Thoughts on the Tony Storm Sky Blue match? Oh no, Riho, why did you go? Stay away.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
Where did you go? Fuck off, Riho.
Oh shit, it's Rio.
Right. Spoiler alert on that point, but how did we feel about that match? My wife, that was her favorite match. Her highlight of the night. I thought it was interesting we bring out Turner Classic Home Movies because we got that Young Key demo, but we need to remind them of Turner Classic Movies. Like, my guy.
I like Tony Storm a lot. I like Sky Blue. They had a decent match, not a great one. Riho coming back out of left field did nothing for me. Was actually like, why? I don't get it. I don't know how Anthony feels.
I mean, I agree with you. It was a decent match between Tony Storm and Sky Blue. when Rio came out, I was like, "Oh, it's Rio. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful." What's next? Spoiler alert: the match happened between 9 and 9:30. So shocked because it happens like that every week. The women's match, 9 and 9:30.
Yeah.
Doesn't change. But yeah, I don't know what Tony Khan is doing with this, with the women's division. I don't know. That's why when people say they want Mercedes Moné there, I'm like, why? Are you not thinking clearly? She left what she thought was a bad women's division to go to another company that is a known bad women's division. So I don't.
Would you say that this AEW women's division right now is worse than the WWE women's division that she left?
Yes.
I was asking either one, I guess, but you both answered, so it's perfect.
Absolutely.
To me, it buries Sky Blue a bit. Like, to me, it's much like another match we had later on tonight that probably should have done better on a pay-per-view than you have it on free TV, respectfully. And I get that, but
they will.
Now Sky Blue's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and now she's already been usurped literally right after she just lost the match, and now Riho comes out, and so you slide back to the back of the bench here when Sky Blue, I would argue, is still gaining in popularity on AEW, and that's especially with their women's roster is a rarity. So to kind of shoot yourself in the foot with that out the gate is a negligence to your women's division.
Well, and it hurts the talent, which we've seen. And I think what bothers me is even if you look deeper, she's supposed to be going through this thing with Julia Hart, and it kind of fell by the wayside. We don't see them interacting. We don't see them together. Last time I saw Julia Hart, she showed up to see Abaddon.
They're gonna be besties,
right? Like why are they not being booked around each other? Why are they not being made to be more prevalent? She had the eye makeup the other night. She didn't have the eye makeup. Last night she had the eye makeup again. She loses, so she doesn't have any superpowers. I didn't expect her to win, but there's nothing there. There's no substance to it.
Yeah, agreed. It seems like the only thing that's really going for the women's division in AEW is Toni Storm, and I feel like they're just throwing people at Toni Storm to give her challenges, to give her challengers, I should say. I agree with you. I thought they were going to do something with Sky Blue and Julia Hart, but it seems like that they just took it to left field. Sometimes it just kind of bothers me to watch AEW and see like you have a lot of these talented women there, from Sky Blue to Toni Storm to I'm forgetting her name right now, but she left TNA earlier this year and went over there. Yes, Taya Valkyrie, and none of these women are being used properly. And Tony Khan has came out and said that he basically, in so many words, doesn't see value in women's wrestling. Then why have them on your show?
No. You nailed it right there, though. With the most prominent thing right now in AEW with the AEW women's division is Toni Storm, and your best example of how it's relevant you could give is, well, they're throwing women at her. That's really about it. We can all see the Maria May is going to just be Trish Stratus, Mickie James 2.0. Again, there's no real storylines built to anything. I still question. So are we supposed to see everything in black and white, or do we just slip into her psyche there and she sees everything in black and white? Well, that just randomly pops up and everything.
I like that.
Oh, I know. It was a joke.
I like it.
It was just trying to lighten the like, Tony Khan hates women. But no, it's really, there's nothing to speak of outside of Toni Storm, which to me personally I still think is too much camp, but that's neither here nor there, that they're really trying to move forward with when it comes to the AEW women's division. Like Britt Baker, as unwarranted, as unplaced as her tweet was, she was not inaccurate.
Right. And
Right,
it seems like they're trying to do something surrounding. I feel like Tony Storm, and I've said it so many times that she's doing the best character work right now. I feel like they're trying to build something around Tony Storm, but it's just not working when you don't have the leader of the company behind women's wrestling as a whole. It doesn't work. And again, you're putting the women's match in the same time slot every week. We all know it's happening at 9, between 9 and 9:30. So it's like I don't know. I don't know sometimes.
yeah, and I mean, if you're going to build something for Tony Storm, you have to build viable contenders. You have to
Exactly.
build, you know, set.
Today you just fucking destroyed them in 3 seconds because
Yeah.
then you bring, you know, whatever literally floated off the latest, you know, plane from Japan
Mhm.
out to the ring here.
Well, yeah,
Respectfully.
if you kept Sky Blue a pure baby face, just smiley, happy-go-lucky baby face,
Oh no, she
and
better as you.
and dude, and you completely fucked me up. Then Tony Storm's more relevant. She matters. She's an actual champion sitting at the top of the mountain where, you know, she has a reputation for knocking off competitors. Sky Blue builds and builds and that fanfare, but instead you got this, she's evil, she's not evil. Like, it's just a waste of time. You need to line them up and you got to have a plan and you got to deliver. But
Well,
Anthony, you're right.
to even follow though with that though of can either any of us name your next 2, 3 that you would have in line to face Tony Storm? I'm going to exclude Riho because she just showed up. But is there anyone else even outside of a Sky Blue? Like Statlander's maybe even an outlier, even though she's coming off of being a TBS champion, that thinks slides into that world title picture.
Willow.
Maybe Willow, and if it was done correctly, Taya Valkyrie. But other than that, it's like, and she hasn't been on TV in months.
Moans.
So it's like, other than that, I would see Willow. Athena's doing her own thing over there in Ring of Honor, and the only person really holding that company up. So yeah, I don't see anybody else.
Does Athena drop it to Billy and we get Athena go to Dynamite or anything like that?
I think so. I think you could pull that off. But then, like, I think Tony Storm's character is enough that because it's so kind of whimsy that fans can get behind it if she was up against like a real mean baby face like Athena.
Oh, you thought Athena would be the babyface?
No, I think Athena will be the heel.
Okay.
Right? She's got to stick that gimmick that she's had forever, right? Like, she's killing it on Ring of Honor as a heel. She's one of the best things on that show.
Oh, Kara Hogan, we just get the wagon off. That is that is the AW Women's Division. The
She
wagon
lost
division.
to, who did she lose to recently? Abaddon.
Oh yeah,
She
shit.
did.
Well,
Yes, that's right. Wasn't that on Collision, I think?
Yep.
Yeah.
and then where is Jamie Hayter? Still sidelined. She's out there. AW's women's division has been destroyed by injuries to an extent because Thunder Rosa, well, injuries, I'll say that. Regarding there could have been some backstage, this, that, and the third as well. But Thunder Rosa has been on the sideline till infinity and beyond. And now Jamie Hayter's joining her there on that, you know, extended island vacation.
So Thunder Rosa is still injured. I didn't even know that.
Well, no, I don't know if she's still injured. I think
Injured.
she might actually be cleared. They just aren't using her.
Using her. Ah, okay.
Like
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. It's still so much in the air of like, it almost feels like they've forgotten about her.
Just like they have forgotten about Taya Valkyrie and a lot of people.
So
So
Taya Valkyrie's a perfect example there.
yeah, and I mean, I feel like she came in hot and then she went out very, very cold. So so I don't know. I don't know where you would begin to try to make the women's division in AEW relevant.
Well, you use people like MD says there about Thunder Rosa. Whenever, if ever, you can get her back, Jamie Hayter. Like that's the thing is you had all this momentum. Like you had arguably, I will still stand on this record of the lights out match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker was the best women's match and arguably one of the best matches I've watched in AEW's entire catalog. Um, and now that's all gone by the wayside. You mentioned Thunder Rosa to some people that watch AEW and they haven't even watched the wrestle because it's been that long.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter was supposed to be the one to, dethrone and be the babyface turn on Britt Baker and everything. And that got all wonky. And then right before we get to All in Wembley, to where it would have been amazing to see Jamie Hayter get that reaction in, her home country, everything like that. And then she's hurt and it's been sideline, 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 sideline.
Yeah. And that's just how it seems to be right now with the women's division. It seems like everyone is sidelined, even with I love Paige or Saraya. It seems like she's not even there. Ruby Soho, she's not even there. It's like where are these women?
Well, but that it begs a bit more of the question of, as we've got do we have the Moose tag match going on? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
As I say, as we've just been constantly talking about other things, as
we got Moose in the
Yeah.
ring, and then we got Josh Alexander and Octagon Jr. They're teaming up. So I guess the main event is going to be that trios match that I mentioned earlier tonight.
Yes, the Motor City Machine Guns and Vikingo versus Trey Miguel and Los Vipers.
Yes.
So Los Randy Ortons.
Yes, I think that's going to be the main event. Go ahead, Nick. I keep interrupting you.
No. Trust me. At times, people will know. At times, that's what you need to do. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with here. But so, who do you have in this match, sir?
I'm going with Josh Alexander and Octagon Jr. here. I think Josh Alexander has been struggling a little bit with winning. The last match I feel like he won was at Bound for Glory. I feel like I could be wrong, but then he lost to Will Ospreay at on that episode of Impact. So he's kind of been struggling a little bit and finding his footing of where he should be right now in Impact.
Well, and this goes back, I guess, to the question we had initially just starting off the show. How much do we think that this is more Impact? I have to remind myself to say Impact right now of we're going to have great matches, but pretty much come, 2024, we're pretty much snapping off continuity and we're starting anew here. This is James Gunn taking over Impact Wrestling here. We're going back to the TNA.
Yeah, I think this just kind of proves, especially with the slow move to TNA in January, that they're just trying to phase Impact out, give it the best ending possible, and then come hard to kill. They're just going to go in headstrong, and I feel like they're really not going to stop for the remainder of the year. I think they're going to do their best to push the TNA agenda, get it out there. Whatever they can do, 2024 is going to be pretty big for TNA, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. I think 100% they're going fully all in on this, and it's not, the Dixie Carters and the Vince Russo's TNAs. They're really, we've already seen what they've done with Impact and made it, almost up there with can't miss wrestling television and underrated. I'll say that. And now if we're gonna really put some production value behind here, all right, so we're stepping up our game.
Yeah, and I really think, speaking of touching on the little production value comment you just made, I really feel like that's really what's going to bring it out, because they've been struggling with their production for a long time, and once they make that change with the production, do some upgrades, I think it'll be top tier for TNA at that point going forward.
There we go. The only AAA I know is baseball. They are getting a ton of time off this holiday break, so I'm sure they'll come back all fully recharged and hype up for 2024. Yeah, I think, because we've got World's End and everything like that. do you think pro wrestling as a whole, this is generic ass question, but tends to kind of take the holidays off kind of a bit like everybody else? Of we kind of, we're gonna like, AEW is already getting to where we're taping shows already in advance, so
Mm-hmm.
we can just air them and people get some time off. Versus we used to hear stories of WWE of like, you still gotta, make sure you drive through the snowy streets to get here for 3 people to have a Christmas Monday Night Raw.
I think we're heading into that direction where it seems like some of these promotions are taking the holidays into account with the superstars. I've also seen with WWE there's talks of cutting back the house shows, which I've kind of been a fan of that for a long time. Like
Really?
give these folks some rest because they're on the road all the time, and I feel like if you cut back on the house shows, it'd
Is
give
that
the
because
wrestlers more
AEW
time.
does that? It is, we've talked, sorry to cut you off there, but
No,
is
you're
that
good.
what we talked about earlier with like the free agency and how that's now an interesting open dialogue? Like we need to start like the wrestlers union. I know if you say wrestlers in union anywhere, people will just come at you. Mostly Vince McMahon, but that now we've got a free agency dialogue that now, because AW pretty much up until they tried it for like a year or two, but didn't run house shows. But because of they just kind of used their TV and maybe they'd halfway do a spot show or their talent would show up at an indie show. So it kind of feels like they're doing a house show.
Mm-hmm.
That's helped them sign people because they're working less dates, they're working a less rigorous schedule versus WWE was constantly known for having the most rigid schedule, the hardest schedule of you're going over here to Saudi Arabia, you're going over here to Europe and everything like that. Could it be now that we've got AW that's lighting their schedule, so now WWE's got to respond and lighten their schedule?
I kind of think so. To make free agency and make the bidding war stronger, I feel like it has to be that way. And since we're watching Impact, I can even bring that up with Aluna
Right.
and I have discussed this multiple times that if you're in Impact, you're wrestling one weekend a month for that company, and that is it. You're doing your TV tapings, you're doing your pay-per-view, and you're done. And you don't come back until the following month. That's an eye opener there for a wrestler who wants to be home, who wants to spend time for with their family. So I feel like WWE somewhat has to do the same thing with limiting their house shows to make that free agency pool and battle a little better.
But absolutely, but it also though does it run the risk of you hurt yourself when everything's so taped to where you get somebody that gets dinged up on taping number 3, but taping number 1 was the one that set up towards the pay-per-view that they can't now make and everything. It goes like it's that weird double-edged sword. 100% let them lighten their schedule, everything like that, respectfully. But if you lean too far into the tapings, I wonder if you go, well, over here screwed up, so now that affects here, 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 and here, and here.
No, and that's another play on it as well. You're totally right there because if you tape so many things in advance, and I'm gonna bring Impact into this again, but if you tape things in advance and then these wrestlers are going out wrestling other shows and happen to get injured on that show that's not involving Impact, that kind of messes up what you have planned. I think taping is good for a period of time, but you also have to go live as well. And I don't think WWE would go back into an area where they're just taping episodes. It's not good for them. But you can't do that as well. You can't do what you just said, like taping, and then you risk, one of your wrestlers getting injured, and now you've taped all these episodes and you can't finish the story that you had planned out.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see if Cody can finish the story. But yeah, no, especially around the holiday times, 100% I agree with. Kind of do your year-end reviews, do your holiday shtick, have your special shows like how Impact used to do, like to where Eric Young, I think, at one point hosted a whole like Christmas episode of Impact, dressed like what goddamn one of Santa's elves. But Tony, what up?
What's
Buck,
up?
what up? Wow, nice drop kick, Kevin. Ref arguing with the crowd now. Yeah, we have done a terrible job of paying attention to this match.
We have. I know it's been all over the place because at one point I think something happened and they were in the crowd.
Oh, Moose was kind of going for a moonsault and just ate a cutter for a 2 count here.
Ooh, it just came across for me.
No, you're good. This man looks like Shaquille O'Neal out here in this wrestling ring compared to everybody else. Moose is a big motherfucker. Also with pre-tapes, a lot of people just read the spoilers these days and don't actually watch the shows.
Yeah. It's hard to keep away with Impact being pre-taped to staying away from them spoilers. So I agree, Daniel. It's definitely like that sometimes.
Is this what we call you, spoilers? Is that your new nickname?
Right? Speaking of spoilers.
I love you. But no, it's even so. I ask you this because I have not done this far into it. I will ask the masses. How do we feel about the alleged, supposed, maybe Daniel Bryan got hurt at Coliseum? Is he refractured his orbital bone? What have you? Is it storyline? Is it kayfabe? All of that.
I don't know.
He's scheduled to be on Rampage, so
I don't know. I don't know what to say on this one. I mean, I talked about it last night. I love Daniel Bryan. He's a generational talent. He's done amazing things, but
he's made of paper mache.
He's a little bit fragile.
He really is. And I don't know. You never really know the full story because the IWC jumps on it so quick. So I didn't even know the man was injured or potentially injured. I just started seeing people say he needs to retire. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, how did we get to Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson being in the Continental Classic to him retiring? What happened in between? So I don't even know what actually happened until I looked it up for myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this happened at the Collision taping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really don't know.
You got a Canadian snowball in the eye.
That's when you mix them stones and them, the icicle in there and everything. That's that fucking ticking time bomb.
Moose, I believe, did pick up a win here, and now we got Tommy Dreamer in the back. And AJ did point out that yes, it is the CEO. She's like front row at all the shows. She's like a queen down there. Absolutely, took it over from her husband.
Yeah, I think when Moose won, he looked at the screen and called himself the MFN wrestling god. I think that's what he said.
Well, then he needs to take on the indie god.
I guess so.
I heard the Danielson injury was a work. I saw a lot of people that were initially like, see, this man is made of paper mache. He is more fragile than the fucking box that brought the leg lamp in A Christmas Story. But I could see it being a little bit of storyline. I think that it's enough that we have to debate it. And this is still the man that's like, oh, yeah, I said this would be the year I'm winding it down. I didn't say I would be done. Right. I said winding it down, not done. Like, I'll be done, like, around maybe, like, 74, like, when she's done, like, college and shit. Like, my guy, I respectfully finish out this year, get off whatever you need to get off, pause, and then just be the Triple H to Tony Khan's Vince McMahon. Just fucking fix this shit from the inside.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, but Okada is going to be at TNA Snake Eyes the night after A Hard to Kill.
Yes.
That was just announced.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. That is pretty huge.
That's amazing. So
yeah. You're gonna have Okada and Will Ospreay at Snake Eyes.
True. Yeah, no, that's good for Impact, and Impact's smart. I mean, I think Impact, the one thing they do very well, or the one thing, one of their claims to fame is they're very self-aware. So yeah, we'll bring in a Osprey for a couple weeks and do a couple tapings with them. We'll bring in an Okada. We might not keep them, but we will get eyes one way or the other, and they've done that time and time again.
Impact TNA runs like the territories of we'll bring in a hot name. We might not have him long term, but we'll bring him in. He'll do good business with our top talent, get them over, put a shine on them, and then he'll go on his merry way and probably take a job on his way out. It's interesting of how you have Impact, OVW, and NWA. I think all kind of both operate still interesting enough, almost on that territory kind of vibe of just fluctuating talent.
No, exactly. And it seems like Impact knows what it's doing with doing this, every couple of months. And I think it's good, especially with TNA coming up. It's gonna bring some eyes to TNA come January and February.
Yeah, and you look at like a Speedball Bailey, right? Like, we knew who he was, maybe not the masses. He has a really amazing match with Osprey. Everyone's talking about Mike Bailey. You know what I mean? Like, oh, when's he going to another company? Like, it benefits the talent as much as it benefits the company. So, I mean, I think it's great. And for the people looking for exposure, it's a good place to do it.
Oh, absolutely. And still that impacts a company that's in contention and throwing out dollar signs and everything towards an Osprey, towards a Punk, etc., that they're in the mix. You may not sign everybody. You might be, a small market team here, but you're in the mix of getting an Osprey, getting a Punk, or anything like that.
And throwing out 7 figures to Osprey was kind of shocking to me. So they can shell out the money when they want to shell out the money.
Yeah, but I feel like, do they like? Is it like Lloyd Christmas? Like, that's an IOU, sir.
I was gonna say, respectfully, were they throwing that out? I'm like, I'm gonna throw this out. Please don't sign it because that's more than we have. I love you. Just don't sign that because we can't give you that.
It'll be close.
Like you said, that's an IOU. You didn't see it's like a 75-year contract there. So we'll pay you eventually.
Right. AJ is excited about the return of the Rainmaker, Anthony. Like you said, big deal.
Yeah, definitely a big deal. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy come January. I really believe 2024 is going to be where TNA grows. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen, and Okada is a big deal coming in right at the start of it. It might not be at Hard to Kill, but that means he's gonna show up from January, the January episodes, all the way into the February episodes because they're filming, the February episodes at Snake Eyes. So I think this is good. I really do.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the idea that people are tuning in to see Osprey. People will tune in to see Okada. And the more they watch Impact, I believe there's especially, basing, what I went through last night watching Dynamite as a fan, and I was really disappointed how it all played out. You tune into Impact, you start realizing there's some quality here. It's, people just, that's TNA. It will officially be TNA, but they're not realizing where this company is and some of the talent and some of the really, really good matches we're getting here.
Exactly. And I think me and you talked about it before. A lot of these people went to Impact to restart their career, to revitalize their career, and then they moved on back to WWE. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, just to name a few. All of these people were let go or left WWE in some capacity and went to Impact and revitalized their career and came back to WWE. I really feel like a lot of the times Impact is like the performance center for established wrestlers that want to reestablish themselves,
Yeah, the pit stop. Like, okay.
Exactly.
But the one thing they get with Impact, I think, like a Drew McIntyre and some of the other names that you listed, is they get airtime. Like, I mean, look at guys like Rhino who's still doing it. Heath, shit, we're still getting Tommy Dreamer, which that's debatable on whether or not we should. But
Right.
there are guys that are viable that couldn't get the TV time elsewhere.
Exactly. And I really believe like Chelsea Green, she's one of them. She got let go, went to Impact. A lot of people loved her. And
Yeah,
now she's back in WWE and doing what she wanted to do. And she's basically running that tag team division. And MDV, I am wearing the Undertaker tonight. That's
nice,
what I'm wearing.
nice. Sorry, I just noticed that Trey Miguel was in a figure four. Penta 12 is all over Alex Shelley right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going with. Penta 12.
Penta 12. I like that.
Luna looks a lot like KJ tonight. Fair enough. I don't know how Luna would look with a beard, though. I don't know if it suits her. Right. I think TNA will beat AEW in the ratings next year. Interesting. Well, they need to improve their TV coverage.
Yeah. And I know they're working on that. They're trying to expand Access TV to more markets. So it's a potential. It's a potential for that to happen.
Right. You can add Kurt to that list.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeff Hardy, you know,
Yeah,
you can kind of add him to that list as well. So it's a lot of folks that went there and changed things up, revitalized their career, and got shipped back to WWE.
that's it. No, I mean, it's advantageous and it works both ways. And I think they do a good job. Again, I think TNA very humble, very like they know they're not the big boys. Like they
Mhm.
know who they are and they pick their spots. Now, if they could see growth, being that one of the bigger companies isn't doing a whole shit ton, it's debatable. Like they're on their heels a lot of weeks, and you watch all the pay-per-views, you'll attest to the fact that some of the pay-per-views are outstanding.
Yes, they really are. And going back to what you said just a little bit ago, it's like Impact is worried about itself. That's it.
Yeah.
We want to make this better. We want to make the products better. I like how they acknowledge past WWE superstars coming in. Hey, this was a former WWE SmackDown Women's Champion or a multi-time champion in the WWE. They're acknowledging their existence, and it's not like we're taking a shot at WWE. These people are established and they're coming here trying to prove themselves again, just like Trinity. I feel like Trinity could be one of the ones out of all the names I just mentioned that could really revitalize her career, which she has been doing here in Impact, and potentially in 2 to 3 years go back to WWE and be treated like, you know, the top woman that she is, you know. So I just like that Impact is worried about itself. That's it. They're not worried about anybody else. It's like they're in their own little bubble, trying to do their own little thing and make themselves grow like they were at one point.
Absolutely. And it's doing well for them. And I mean, there's a ton of talent there. There's up and coming talent. And I mean, it can't be easy. Like every time you kind of build up and you got this stable full of, quality talent, and then a bunch of them start getting poached. Like I could see ABC getting poached at some point. We got Trey Miguel, who's been there for a long time, that could get picked away because he's a high end talent. So, but anytime they lose somebody, they seem to react and fill the gap pretty good and keep going.
No, absolutely. And I just go back to what you said a couple of months ago, like the knockouts division is in the process of changing because they lost like Mickie James. There was at one point Jordan Grace wasn't there. It seems like Deonna Purrazzo won't be there, in the next couple of weeks. But they always find somebody to replace them and keep pushing and keep chugging the train along just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that's again, the transitions where, again, arguably that knockouts division, the best women's wrestling you could find. And then they go through ebbs and flows, and I think they have done that a little bit. So to me, right now, they're a little more neck and neck with a couple of the other companies out there or shows, but they highlight their women. Jordan Grace is outstanding. They will do the intergender. They will let them win belts. So it's a different animal, but it feels really good.
Exactly.
Shelly going for the crossface and gets
Yeah.
put Oh,
I think it. Ooh, that was. Ooh,
oh, it's over. As the Motor City Machine Guns have Penta and not Penta in a. Oh
Penta
no,
and not
wait,
Penta.
no, Trey Miguel with the save.
I thought it was about to be over. That was about to be a double tap out.
I thought Trey Miguel came in to celebrate, to be 100% honest, but I didn't realize he was going to kick somebody in the face. But King goes with MCM. Okay.
Ooh, what a nice move over the top rope.
Tope, little man. I find that screen, and we talk about this all the time when we cover AAA.
Mhm.
That screen moving the way it does in the background, I find it awfully distracting.
It,
Like,
it definitely is a little bit distracting.
I find myself reading the screen and not even watching the match. Oh, motor oil. It's ridiculous. If TNA can't get better TV deal like they had when they were on Spike, they'll probably still pull the same numbers they are now if they stay on Access. And I think you touched on that solution that they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. They're working on expanding the reach of Access TV. I've seen a lot of articles about that. And they have to. They have to, especially in the United States. I'm not sure if you guys have YouTube TV or anything like that in
Yep.
Canada, but they have to push it on those platforms. Access TV, I'm a subscriber to YouTube TV. It's not on there.
Yeah.
So they kind of got to get up to, working with these streaming services, working with the cable providers, getting their channels in more homes.
Absolutely. As Vikingo and Trey Miguel are just smacking the shit out of each other right now.
I like how the camera is moving too. It's like watching an action movie.
Oh, exchanging kicks. This is excellent. Oh, Poison Rana.
Really solid main event. Ooh.
AJ said the last match should have been the main event. I can't remember what the last match was.
It was Moose and I can't remember his tag team partner versus Octagon Jr. and Josh Alexander.
Fair enough. Big 2 count. What a great match. It actually got us to stop talking for a second to be like, hey.
Exactly.
That's funny. I have a feeling Heath will be back in WWE. He's an interesting one just because his age. Like Rhino, the same thing. Like, could they come in? Yeah, but the WWE leans a little younger at times. Now they got a plethora of 30 to 40-year-olds, but that's 2023 for you.
Ooh, what is he trying to do with Trey Miguel on his shoulders?
Go to sleep.
Oh,
go to sleep. Kenta and CM Punk are groaning right now.
What is he doing?
Oh,
this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be over.
Oh, Phoenix Splash.
Yeah, a second row Phoenix Splash.
Wow, what a move.
Right. What did he say? I sense that was naughty. I don't want to know, guys. Try and be on the nice list if you can.
It's Christmas. You got to get on the nice list.
Right. Oh, again, to Nick's
point. Speaking of naughty.
Speaking of random child running through the aisle, we got another one. The kid was ran
across. That was so good.
Sometimes it just works out that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, hell of a match. That was actually
that was, like you said, it got us to stop talking for a minute.
Yeah,
but now we're done.
Impact consistently has the best pay-per-views. Usually, like they're consistently solid from start to finish. They it's rare I watch an Impact pay-per-view and go, I didn't like it.
Right. Agreed. I don't know if there's been one this year where I've been like, this wasn't great at all. Like,
but now is that on match quality or is that on story or a combination of the two? Like
combo.
When's the last great Impact story?
I I have to say they've struggled with their stories this year. As much as I can go rah for Impact, they've struggled this year with their
the
story.
The Eddie Edwards, Kazarian.
Don't you put Alicia Edwards in it. Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
No, don't even do it.
No. Yeah, wrong.
It was the lamb chops of storylines.
But I do think I can answer Big Nick's question. I think it was the Mickey James last rodeo. Perfect. I think that was
was that 2023.
It ended in 2023. It ended in 2023. It ended at Hard to Kill.
Yeah, but has it ended? She hasn't retired, and technically she didn't lose. So
stories have been at least paused.
Right, you paused the rodeo.
But yeah, I think that's the last great one, and they didn't have any this year at all.
Oh, now I'll caveat my question. So then, do we want to go with the next great or the last great AW storyline? Notice how everyone got quiet.
Well, because I know some fans right away are going to be like, well, Swerve and Hangman has been great, which I think that it has been good. But
good, not great.
I know. And then the MJF and Adam Cole started pretty great, and then it turned into a fucking mush puddle. I don't know, bro.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I can't answer that question now. I can circle back. I did think about one Impact storyline this year. PCO and Sammy Callahan, Steve Macklin.
Oh, come on now, yeah.
That was really good.
And
was it PCO and Macklin, or was it PCO retirement tour?
No, well, maybe. No, he signed back.
No, he signed back.
I know, but we initially thought it was the retirement tour. Cool. I don't just because fucking Barry Bonds signs a 1-day contract to retire as a San Francisco.
Well, he didn't sign a 1-day contract.
I know, you get what I'm saying though. Like, cool. That doesn't mean that the initial story wasn't the retirement angle.
No, I don't think it was. Well, they did set him on fire twice.
They did.
He's the fucking Canadian Frankenstein. He will not die.
Canadian kebab. What do you mean? Impact had a great.
That's what I appreciate about you.
Has Sammy appeared anywhere else? No, we just keep getting teases of him and Mox, but I guess Wrestling Revolver, but that's a different story.
Yeah,
he owns it, so
right.
Yeah, facts. Dun dun dun. Yeah, the show. If anybody wants to give a rating on Impact tonight,
if you watch it, probably more than us.
I know the first match was great, the Moose match was great, and then the last match was really good. So out of those 3 matches, I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5.
I'll give it a 7 just to be different and act like I paid attention.
Oh, now I was gonna make a joke, but I don't know if I can. Never mind. I'll give it a 5.
You kind of already put it in the universe, so I would just say go ahead and say.
No, you
Nick has confirmed with the voices in his head and decided it was a bad idea.
Intrusive thoughts are not always the best of thoughts.
They talk to me.
All right. Well, shout out. By the way, I almost want to send you this, KJ. So anyone out there who's of a certain vintage and remembers, when Bart's in the class with all the international students and everything like that, and the one news from Canada of somebody paired that up with. I hear voices in my head.
But I need this one booked quick. Here you go.
Imagine
well, I've already pitched for it. Going to be the Chapeau Show. Right. It's not quite the Chappelle Show. It's the Chapeau Show.
Do I honestly got to throw this gray motherfucker on to fit?
Yes, you do. God damn
it. Shout out. Damn, Lucha Libre refs look like internet pop-up ad.
No, that's the screen behind them. They look like the fucking Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa.
Right. AJ saying really good episode. Yeah, I thought so. There you go. Book it. Let's go. 7. Didn't pay attention out of 10. I think that's how we feeling, guys. I think we're good to head towards the door.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, I got more.
Edge and Adam Copeland.
All right, you want to quickly talk about Edge and Adam Copeland?
Was obvious turn obvious?
It was blatantly obvious. It was blatantly unnecessary. It was blatantly stupid, and it hurt a reunion that everybody I think was looking forward to. And I think somebody put in the chat 823,000 people tuned in. They're not moving the needle with this storyline.
I felt like a rant was about to come on, KJ. I was waiting. You were hitting the punches, and I'm like, okay, he's about to rant. Maybe I should have tuned into the AEW stream last night to see KJ rant.
I wasn't happy last night. I was a little angry by the time we got off, and I had a lot to say last night, and I think I'm being a little conservative here.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll poke the bear then. Let's come and we'll poke the bear here. So, how do you feel about the fact that Nick Wayne's mom kind of sold both back and forth of, I'm going to hit Adam, I'm going to hit Christian, even though Adam hit the concerto on her son right in front of her? And why is Nick Wayne's mom, is she the new Stu of Ada, or not Stu, what's the fucking best, Trent Bretta's mom?
Oh,
Sue, I was close. Of AW, of Nick Wayne's mom has got it going on.
Nick Wayne's mom shouldn't be in this storyline. Nick Wayne shouldn't be in this storyline. I don't want to see a teenager, an angsty teenager, fight with his mother. I know you said she kind of sold. She stared at Edge the entire time. It was 100% obvious where the fuck she was putting that belt. There was no second guessing. And again, I thought, I still feel like this is going to build up to a match at World's End. Maybe they'll stick him in a cage or some shit. But it
Nick Wayne's mom on a forklift. Let's go.
Yeah, but it was a lackluster match, and the turn wasn't. It's not a big fucking deal. It wasn't like Luchasaurus showed back up and cost Edge. It's someone's mom. The fuck.
Well, so you said it was a lackluster match. I don't know, Anthony, how you feel, but so how on the match as a whole, before we get to the finish, anything like that, A, how do we feel? B, are we surprised that we even actually got a match? Because I thought it was going to be no contesto. We were going to get all of the pomp and circumstance and everything beforehand to where we don't even get here. We're going to get here with the devil storyline. The devil shit was going to be the payoff. This was going to be the fuck around and find out shit.
So I'm gonna be honest. I gave Dynamite an hour of my time last night, and then I went to go watch a Christmas movie. So
smart man.
No question.
I didn't see
the Christmas movie. Now we need to judge you by your Christmas movie choice.
Right.
What did you say, Nick? I didn't hear you.
I said, well, now we need to judge which Christmas movie did you go and watch? Now we need to judge you by your Christmas.
Oh, Home Alone 2.
There, I get good solid choice.
That's a solid B, C+ tier Christmas movie.
You're nuts. You are nuts. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
It was Home Alone 3, which is
no.
not
Home
a Christmas
Alone
movie.
is A, S tier, Turbo Time, Jingle All the Way. Like, that's the thing is Home Alone 2, like, it's good, but it's not top tier. Like,
you're crazy.
Now we know what we need to do on the channel is a tier list of Christmas movies. But yeah, no, that's you're crazy. Mid tier.
You're nuts. That's
an IC belt, US belt, Christmas movie.
I just hear the Grinch in that entire comment. That's how I feel.
I do wear a shirt that says Bah Humbug, but by the way, since you mentioned the Grinch, both those movies are better than that movie.
Oh, you're crazy. I'd take Home Alone 2 over the Grinch. For sure.
The mean one, Mr. KJ.
The Sticky Bandits, come on now, running around, Bird Lady, let's go. They were just
that
like
was the first one. That's not the second one.
The second one's the Bird Lady.
And the first one, that's the second one. I thought,
the shovel guy.
Keep your change, you filthy animals. The first one.
The keep the change part is the first one. Yes,
that's the goat tier. That's the the end all be all. That's the MJ of Home Alone movies.
Yes, I wouldn't disagree with that. But the second one is like if I gave Home Alone 1, like 9 out of 10 being a Christmas classic, I think Home Alone 2 is getting like 8.5 right behind it. Like
Right.
it is great.
And the only reason I wouldn't give Home Alone 2 a 10 is because really the reason why he was left alone was his fault because he wanted some batteries, which he could have waited until he got on the plane.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the Duracell bunny is to blame for fucking
100%.
Home Alone 2? Is that what we're getting at here?
100%.
But yeah, they basically took that, multi-million-dollar formula that they used in the second one, and we just switched it up. We didn't get the old guy.
Like I'll give it 7.5.
Oh, it was great. I thought the chase scene through the abandoned apartment building in the second one was arguably better than the first one in the house.
Well, MD's asking, is the Christmas Story the GOAT?
Classic.
Christmas classic.
Ho, ho, ho. Well, now, does Tony try and slip in an AW reference or an AW commercial when they replay the Christmas Story for 24 hours like they normally do on TBS?
He got to get some viewers to watch.
Right.
People are not watching.
Fred Delay might be a wrestler signed to AW.
He's gonna have a huge announcement during a Christmas Story.
And he's gonna open the crate. It's gonna be the leg lamp.
No, we're gonna get fucking Macaulay Culkin at Winter is Coming.
We already gotten the fucking the Von Erichs here because boy howdy, we've got to make sure we capitalize on MJF being in the Iron Claw.
No, I'll give him credit on that. Do that. That makes sense, but we'll see what that means. But WWE does that shit all the time, right? We had a fucking golden egg on the TV show for a fucking Netflix special. So whatever. I can get behind that.
That's how Austin Theory got a push.
Right? Give me the egg. But just last side quick thought is the main event sucked. It was a lackluster show. I felt like it was this natural decline covering the show last night because we started as a collective.
Good. I thought you were talking about tonight.
Right? We were so optimistic, and it just gradually chipped away by the end because so much of it never came to be. I still believe that we're going to get Christian and Edge because now there's a beef. A lot of people are speculating. You are going to get Beth Phoenix to show up to beat up Nick Wayne's mom. Not a woman wrestler. Nick Wayne's mom.
Don't do that.
They are.
Don't do that.
They're going to do it.
They can't.
Anthony, your thoughts?
They can't. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Beth Phoenix fan. She's from my hometown of Buffalo, New York. Please do not go to AEW and do this. Just your last match in WWE was epic with Rhea Ripley and Edge and Finn Balor. Leave it like that. Don't go over there.
But what did you think of the main event last night of Dynamite of the TNT Championship match between Christian and Adam Copeland?
Was that not what we were just talking about?
Yeah, right. I was just asking his opinion.
I didn't watch it.
No.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
yeah, we covered that.
I'm so terribly sorry. I thought he was just out here. That's
how we got to the Christmas movies.
The Phoenix is gonna whoop
the Home Alone debate.
Mom.
I saw the ending of Nick Wayne's mom turning on Edge at the on Twitter.
So you saw obvious heel turn is obvious because
that's what I saw.
Yeah, okay, because even when the spot going into that, I was like, all right, so at least we're hitting a spear. I was surprised to hit a double spear. It was such a weird match. Like, it's one of those, I didn't expect it to actually be a match. And okay, if you're gonna give us the match, then fucking go for it. But we had random holy shit moments. We had or cheers, I should say, not moments. Random fight forever chants. Like, it sounded like they were looping in the AW video game audio tracks during the show and everything. And like, we had Edge just randomly just wailing on Christian. It had very much the potentials of, please don't let this be the only match that we see of these two.
Yeah, I'm going to sum up what you just said real short. It sucked. It was not.
Okay.
It was not delivered well, and at the end of the day, it just, again, it's disappointing because you see it that it's not moving the needle, and you want it to, but I understand why it's not, because you don't have, you're not building to it properly. And then when you do give it, I mean, again, that didn't look great. It looked like two guys past their prime in the ring struggling. I didn't love it.
I think they held back. I think
that's it. I agree.
It's one of those, if this was going to be the payoff, which this shouldn't have been, they shouldn't have been in that position to have Nick Wayne's mom has got it going on. This would have been a much better match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, do you remember when Hogan's mom showed up to help him with Andre? Oh no, that didn't happen. Okay, let's move on.
Wait, you actually had me thinking that actually happened. I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, the Crypt Keeper? What? Who?
Right? She hit him with a fucking Hogan lunchbox, and then he gave him the scoop slam. No, it never happened.
See, I just, it seems so apropos though for AEW. Like, I'm just like, all right, I guess this is it. And there's people justifying it. Well, she saw Adam Copeland give her son the concerto. Cool. Well,
she hated him too.
She hasn't watched Christian just be an asshole to everyone, including his own children, for months on end. Like, fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, it just wasn't. Go ahead, Anthony.
I don't understand why they just didn't get someone like a wrestler to play his mom. Like, we know that Undertaker and Kane are not brothers.
Yes.
So why couldn't we just get an actual wrestler to
play his
alert,
mom? There's some people just finding that out right now.
Why couldn't we just do that to make it seem better? That's when I would be like, okay, we can bring Beth Phoenix in.
Because you play into Nick Wayne's father and everything, because your father's dead. Dead. You get that whole remix and everything playing. That when you touch that close to real life, you got to run with real life. And sometimes gets a little awkward.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on that wonderful note, I mean, I want Tony to do better. When you looked at that card on paper, we should have been thrilled today, just talking about all the good shit that happened. And it underdelivered. And I don't give a fuck what the diehards say. They're crazy.
No, I was going to say, there's people out there that think that that's one of the best episodes of Dynamite in quite a hot minute, but Adam Copeland in AEW has not cracked 900,000, not 1 million, nothing.
They haven't cracked 1 million in a long time, my guy, and it's not good. Their ticket sales are down, their ratings are down. I'm praying for a better 2024 from this company, and I don't care how many tickets they sell to Wembley. You're there once a year.
Right.
So that's my take.
No, I agree. I think we can end on the note that I heard that WWE is trying to beat the market they were in previously. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to use Atlanta as an example. They were here in June, so they're expecting to beat their June numbers in January when they come back. That's basically what they're trying to do. So they're trying to keep the momentum going into 2024.
I agree.
I was going to say, well, speaking of keeping the momentum going into 2024 and speaking of the momentum going into tomorrow night, 100%, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. We are out here smashing the numbers that we even hit last year, which was still phenomenal, by the way. But our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about the wrestling, put that for life with it.
You got anything to say, Anthony?
Nah, go take us out.
See you on the flip side, folks. Come back. We're stacked this weekend. Bye.